Let's see if they still care about me. What do you think? What do you think? You ready for some grass? Oh. Doesn't matter where I've been. Hard to forget grass, isn't it, girls? Huh? Everybody wants some grass. Oh, you got a big bite. Not gonna be much for anybody else. I'm gonna gotta hold on to it. You gonna give any to the little ladies? Come here, girls. Come here, little one. Come here, little one. Get some before the other ones get it. There you go. You got the end. That's all I brought. That's all I brought. That's all I brought. I'll walk a little more and come back and get you some more. I promise. I promise. They didn't forget. It's only been 10 days, but they didn't forget. They didn't forget. Yeah. Yeah, you never came over before. What have you learned in the last week, huh? You've learned something. I'll go get some more, I promise. Some things change, some things stay the same. See them going for every last piece, anything that dropped. That's what they go for. I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh, it's February 23rd. I've been off the trail for 4 days, home for 3 days. The knee's halfway better. This is the first day I've taken any walk. I'm just doing I'll end up doing a half a mile just on flat. And the knee isn't happy about it, but it's half better. And I'm not going to stress it any further than this. In my life, I've seen plenty of people who have blown out their patellar tendon from having it inflamed for too long, and then all of a sudden it just pops. I don't need that. It was a good week. It was a week that was like so many of the nice weeks I've had in my life. I've been blessed to have hundreds and hundreds of good weeks in my life and very few bad weeks. And I think most people on the trail, if they look at it, regardless of how far they go, that's the way they can look back at their lives too, I hope. So the trail and I are done. Although if things do well, I may go back and do some slack packing. I've learned stuff about slack packing. I've learned stuff about hostels giving you rides to one point and picking you up 10 miles down the road, and that's certainly a good way to go. So you can take in most of it. I've learned that although people don't realize it, 90% of where the trail is in Georgia, since I did almost all the Georgia Trail, that 75 miles, is a sick, totally degraded environment. People don't realize that there's no undergrowth there. The soil is gone from timbering that was done almost 100 years ago. Then the rains came, took away most of the topsoil. And even though it's been over half a century, except in a few places, all there are almost monoculture trees. Species still have not come back in the trees because there's been no fire, there's been no rejuvenation, because areas there were farmed or attempted to be farmed after the trees were cut. That made even more erosion. It'll take lifetimes and lifetimes for that to come back to anything close to what it was before 1850. It's what we do as humans. We occupy, we degrade, and unfortunately my generation has been the worst. But how it ends up in 20 or 50 or 100 years from now, well, I'll be gone. Today, I'm just back walking a little bit. Just letting my knee work out a little bit, as I've always done whenever I have a chronic injury. Usually I've been able to get over it. Hopefully this one will too. Again, it's about a half better after 3 to 4 days of rest, but got a haircut yesterday, sat in the chair for 20 minutes. When I went to get up, it looked like somebody needed to get me a wheelchair. But after walking 50 feet, it's slowly worked its way out. So we'll go check out the orchard here in a little bit, see what's happened in the 10 days I've been gone. Let you see what it looks like. Some kind of native bush, I don't remember the name of it, but look at all the beautiful flowers. Hopefully the hummingbirds will come find it if they want them. Beautiful native bush. Flowers, flowers, flowers for the hummingbirds. Give you the idea of the size of it. It's covered with gorgeous, gorgeous purple flowers. And it sits here coexisting amongst the mangoes, which are still blossoming. It's another native bush. This is called scorpion tail. These flowers are very, very small, very delicate. Oops, sorry. This one is particular for all the native butterflies and bees. A few of the mangoes have set some small fruit. But remember, at best, there'll only be one or maybe two of all these little ones that'll sit on this one branch right here. A different native bush. You can see the bees on it, maybe. They're here in the morning. They've been in their hive or in their holes all night. And they come out. This is particularly for the native bees. These very, very small, delicate flowers. The white ones are the new ones. The yellow ones are already past. This would have been totally white a couple days ago. You can see the difference. Here's the avocado that just had a few very little blossoms on it. You can see what it's done in 10 days. It has really blossomed out. This would be a good year to get fruit this year, since it didn't give us any last year. Often they skip years. Again, most of these blossoms will be new leaves. We'll see how God makes them come this year. The last 10 days, this entire blossom came out. It all grew. There was nothing here 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago. You can imagine if a storm doesn't blow it off. Look at the number of bananas that one bunch will have. Probably 100, maybe not quite that many. Big, beautiful plant. Will be 60 to 90 days, depending on moisture and heat, wind. And that's a brand new one. When these grow, they grow. The loquats have gotten much larger, and some of them have started to turn. They are delicious. They need to get a lot more yellow, which on these will only take a few more days. A different peach. Give you the idea, there was nothing, no fruit here 10 days ago, so that's how much these have grown. These are about an inch size. Matter of fact, these are ready to be thin. There should only be 1 or 2 on this branch. Matter of fact, now there's one less. This is a coral honeysuckle. It's a native. It had a few flowers on it 2 weeks ago, but it is going to fill up. And this plant or vine is a little bit for bees and butterflies, but in particular, you can imagine hummingbirds being here, putting their long beaks and their tongues all the way down into this. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant. This is not the invasive white Japanese honeysuckle, which is all over the country. This is the native coral honeysuckle. The flowers are really, really pretty, although I've only seen hummingbirds on it twice. That old idea about if you build it, they will come may or may not be true, especially if there aren't enough around. Here's another nice sunflower to greet me in the morning. Again, these are planted by the squirrels who are fed by my neighbor, certain sunflower seeds. So this sunflower seed is about 250 feet from where the squirrels originally got it. There's my hand. There's the sunflower. But the bees will be on this, and hopefully, like I said last year, we even had some bumblebees on it. There's one of our orange trees. Totally blossoming out now. This thing will be covered. Blossoms. In 2 or 3 days, these babies will all be open. And it'll smell. You can already smell them, especially in the morning. You can see how they would take orange blossoms and crush them rather, to make a perfume that would definitely make you more attractive than someone who smelled like they'd been on the Appalachian Trail for a week. And some bees are here already, but not a whole lot. When the bees are really here, you can hear the buzzing. So, as I close out this little adventure in my life, return home. The world went on, I went on, we all went on. It was a damn good week. Sorry my knee decided that it didn't want to do like it might have done when I was younger, but I'm glad I went this year and not next year. I certainly encourage everyone to pick something to do every year of their life that they've never done before. Give it a challenge, fail, succeed. That isn't the point. It's the only way to learn. Think how much you've learned on Netflix this year. Think of how much you've learned on Netflix this year. Think of how much you've learned from talking about our political system. And I'll finish with, there's a different orb weaver there on his web. And he's just going to eat up insects as they fly through. Although you couldn't see them, there are hundreds of dragonflies out this morning, as they call them, mosquito hawks, but they're probably eating gnats since there aren't any mosquitoes out. But the blue jays are flying through, and what are they eating? Dragonflies or spiders. If we just don't kill the one, then everybody gets to survive, including us. Have a great day, have a great week. Moving on.